Amber Dawn moved to one of the rainiest places in America. She moved into a small apartment building. Her apartment was on the top floor.
The first night I moved in, I was laying in my bed and I heard footsteps in the attic. And they were very clear footsteps. And I wasn't quite sure why I would be hearing that. But, whenever you move into a new apartment, you start to notice all the different sounds that particular space makes. And so I wasn't quite sure what it was, but it sounded like footsteps.
Had you been told that there was an attic?
There was a crawl space, a little square that pushed up into the ceiling. And I thought, okay, you're probably not what it is. I know I have an active imagination. So I just fell asleep anyway. But the next day I told the landlord, I think I heard footsteps up there last night. Is there any way that anybody could be up there? And she told me no. She said it was probably squirrels or raccoon or something. I was like, well, that squirrel's wearing a pretty big set of boots then.
We've all had that feeling, that something isn't quite right. And we're very good at talking ourselves down, going on with our lives, telling ourselves that it's all in our imagination. And most of the time, it is.
I was very meticulous. Everything was very organized. I knew it was in my cupboards. And I would buy a 6-pack of soda. I would drink one, maybe take one to work with me, and I would come back and there would be 3 left. And it's like, well, did I drink 2? That's odd. Or like cans of soup would be missing.
What did you think was happening?
Well, my brother, he had a key to the apartment. I assumed that he was coming into my apartment and eating my food because that is something he would do. So I thought it was him.
Did you confront him?
Yeah, I called him. I told him, I can't afford to feed you. Don't come over here and eat my food. And it wasn't happening all the time. I just would notice it every now and again.
Amber wasn't home much. She was working several jobs and waitressing at night. So when she noticed that little things in her apartment had been moved, she'd second-guess herself, chalk it up to exhaustion. She was starting to feel at home in Enumclaw. She had her 2 cats, and then she got a puppy.
She was maybe 9 or 10 weeks old, so...
Really little.
Yeah, she was just a baby. And I was kenneling her in the bathroom while she was learning to be potty trained.
One day, she was waitressing when she got a call from her landlord saying that her bathroom was flooding.
So I came home, and I opened up the bathroom door, and my puppy was in the bathroom sink. There's no way she could have gotten into that sink. She was a little puppy.
The puppy was dry, like safe in the sink?
Yeah, she was sitting in the sink.
But like someone must have put her in the sink, right?
Yes, someone must have put her in that sink.
She'd been living in her apartment for about 6 months when she got sick and called into her jobs. And so, on this day, for the very first time, she didn't leave her apartment at all.
It was around 7 o'clock at night. I was on the couch, and I heard a loud thump in the bedroom. And I just dismissed it because I have animals and they make noise. Later on that evening, I turned off all the lights. I drew a bath. I got undressed, and I got into the bathtub. And so I'm in the bathtub. I got a candle lit, and I look up, and that crawl space door was open, and everything just slowed way down. And I put it all together as like, okay, the footsteps the first night, the doors being closed when I had left them open, the missing food, Thea, my dog, in the sink. There was someone living in my house with me. He's been living in my apartment for 6 months. If he wanted to hurt me, that's not what he wants. He just needs a place to stay. He's probably not a bad guy. Like, he put Thea in the sink. So I very calmly got out of the tub and got my robe. I put it on, and we called the police. The police came to the apartment, but he was gone.
In the attic, the police found a little bit of food, a book, and a sleeping bag.
I think you just have to listen to your instincts. I think that's what I've learned from this. Like, deep down, I knew what was going on, but I didn't trust myself. I thought I was just imagining it. Since then, I have learned to listen to my instincts.